There was once a girl named Jessica.
From the time she was very young, she felt an unusual connection with the ocean. While other children played in the schoolyard, Jessica would sit by the shore, watching the waves crash and retreat, listening to the endless voice of the sea. She often felt as if the ocean was calling her name, whispering secrets only she could hear. Deep inside, she carried one dream that one day she would work with the great creatures of the sea and form a bond that went beyond words. Years passed and Jessica grew. With determination and love for marine life, she joined a marine park as a trainer. At first she worked with dolphins and smaller whales, training them, feeding them, learning their behaviors. But in her heart she held a wish that never faded, to one day train an orca, the majestic killer whale. Fate answered her call. A new orca arrived at the park. Her name was Noor. The first time Jessica looked into Noor's eyes, she felt something extraordinary. Noor's gaze was not just animal instinct. There was depth, awareness, almost as if she understood. From that day, an unspoken bond began to grow. Jessica spent countless hours with Noor. She fed her, swam beside her, and slowly, Noor began to trust her completely. When Jessica called her name from the edge of the pool, Noor would rush to her without hesitation. The staff watched in amazement. It was rare to see such trust form so quickly between an orca and a trainer. As the months turned into years, their friendship blossomed. Jessica taught Noor spectacular tricks. Noor would leap high into the air, creating waves that soaked the cheering audience. Children clapped, adults gasped, and Jessica would smile with pride. But for her, Noor was never just a performer. She was her closest friend, her sister of the sea. Whenever Jessica felt lonely or troubled, she would sit by the pool and speak softly. Noor would rise to the surface, rest her massive head on Jessica's hand, and listen. In those moments, Jessica often whispered, "You're not just an animal. You're my family." Their shows became legendary. The crowd came not only to see stunts but to feel the magic between the girl and the whale. People often said it's as if they share one heart. But life, no matter how beautiful, can turn suddenly. One fateful day during a packed performance, tragedy struck. The show had begun like any other. The music was loud, the audience was thrilled, and Jessica stood proudly at the edge of the pool. With her signal, Noor leapt high into the sky, sending a shower of water over the cheering crowd. Excitement filled the air. Then Jessica decided to attempt a stunt she had never performed before the public. She gave Noor a special signal, to launch her into the air and catch her again in the water. At first it went well. Noor pushed Jessica upward with all her strength. The crowd gasped in awe as Jessica soared through the air.
But in a split second, everything changed. Jessica lost her balance. Instead of landing safely, she struck the edge of the pool with a terrible impact. The crowd fell silent, then screams erupted. Staff members rushed forward. But the first to react was Noor. She circled frantically, pushing Jessica toward the surface, lifting her with desperate care, as if begging her to breathe, to move, to live. The water began to turn red, and the cries of the audience grew louder. Jessica was rushed to the hospital. Hours turned into days, and she fought for her life. Meanwhile, Noor refused to eat. She floated restlessly in her pool, waiting, watching the place where Jessica used to stand. Day after day, she stared, as if expecting her friend to appear with her familiar smile. Then the news arrived. Jessica had lost her fight. She was gone. The park fell into mourning. The staff cried quietly, and the audience seats remained empty. But no one grieved more than Noor. That night, her cries echoed across the water. She slapped her fins against the pool with heartbreaking force, as if the ocean itself had been torn from her soul. People who heard her said her voice was not the sound of an animal, but the sound of sorrow, deep and human. Weeks passed, and the park tried to bring Noor back into performances. But every time she approached the stage, she stopped. She would look at the audience, then turn away. Tears welled in her dark eyes. She refused to jump, refused to play. It was as if she was saying, "I don't want applause. I only want my Jessica back." Time moved on, but the sadness never left her. Each night, Noor swam slowly to the corner of the pool where Jessica used to kneel. She would float there silently, staring at the empty space, as if waiting for her friend's voice to call her name one more time. Visitors to the park often whispered, "Look into her eyes. You can see her story. It's the story of love, of friendship, of loss." And so, Jessica and Noor's tale lived on. A story of a girl and a whale, of a bond that even death could not break. Their friendship became a legend, a reminder that the connections between humans and animals can be as deep and unshakable as any bond on Earth. To this day, when the wind moves across the water and the night grows quiet, people say Noor still searches, still longs, still remembers. She waits for the girl who called her sister, the girl who gave her love beyond training, beyond performance, beyond the cage of captivity. Jessica and Noor, two souls from different worlds, tied together forever by love, by trust, and by a tragedy that made the world weep. Their story teaches us that friendship knows no species, no limits, no end. It is eternal like the sea itself.